Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. We're hopping into Red Zone Vegeta's Story Edition against Blue Goku. We're going to be trying out the recently EZA TEQ KEFLA that fused into SSJ2 KEFLA, and we're going to see how they do in some difficult content. Now, this is probably going to be the hardest environment for them to be in, considering the dodge cancellation is immediate. And that does eliminate pretty much the majority of their kit in base and also fused. You know, we're missing out on a total of 90% dodge chance while in base. We then miss out on the 70% we get when fused. And all we have to rely on is just KEFLA stacking, building up that 160 attack and defense, which is done in no time, considering it is for every attack performed, not specifically super attacks. And then once we fuse, and this is where the type advantage is going to help out quite a lot. When KEFLA carries on stacking attack and then gets the 50% defense for the turn, I think we can really let loose with her. But again, we have nothing else to rely on. We have nothing else to fall back on. There's no guard. There's no damage reduction. This is pretty much a dodge or die unit, and we're just relying on sheer stats. I also don't have a Universe Survival Saga category unit with me. We're also not facing a Universe Survival Saga category enemy. So that means we're permanently going to also be missing out on the 60% attack and also the guaranteed additional. I could have brought one Universe Survival Saga category unit with me, being Go Freezer. However, with one rotation being full super, that's fine. That helps with his additional supers. And then having one that's inconsistent with having Broly with us, but he's just so good here, it does mean his additionals are very inconsistent. And if we don't additional enough, we could actually take some damage from him, especially with him being at 55%. And that's something I'd rather avoid. So I've decided to build the team the way I have, primarily with type advantage, primarily with slot 1 units and units that are just defensively very, very good. Beast, Broly, and then also the gods. I know I could have bought the Super Saiyan 4s, but their type advantage does help quite a lot. I know they can't dodge at all, whereas Super Saiyan 4s do have damage reduction. But that kind of midpoint before they run out of their 7-turn guard and also buff, you know, even though they don't dodge, they do have type advantage, which kind of helps flesh them out just a little bit before I actually want to fuse them. That's a lot of attacks in slot 2. A lot of attacks in slot 2. See, if this was a serious run, if this wasn't just dedicated to KEFLA, I probably would have shimmied them in slot 3. That's perfect, the fact we've got one out of the way already. But remember, we don't have the guaranteed additional to rely on. So primarily, we want that next super attack to be against Goku. All we need here right now, that 50% chance of an additional to pop. Is it? Yes. And the hidden potential system. Dokkan, do not fail me now. We have no guarantees here. So that's also a 40% build up in the attack and defense. We've got all three. So that means not only have we built up 120 of the 160 attack and defense we built up for every attack performed, that's also 3 stacks. It's not going to do a lot, but this is where Goku's at his weakest. So this actually really helps KEFLA a lot. Hence why we're already taking double digits on normals. No super attack, it looks like, either. Aye, Dokkan had your boys back. Dokkan had your boys back. I will take it. See, that would have been even better on turn 1 because Goku would have been at his weakest even more so, obviously. But these early phases, we need as many of those additionals proccing as possible. Not just because we don't have the guaranteed additional, but also while Goku is at his weakest. If we can get those proccing as much as possible, even though it's not up to me. If it's up to me, I'll be getting them all the time. But, you know, Dokkan, this is why we need them as much as possible. Because we need to flesh them out as quick as possible before Goku gets fully built up. Because then that's when Goku's going to start really doing some damage. And KEFLA can be really found out. And they're at their most vulnerable. I mean, naturally, I say found out. We're using a unit that is heavily dependent on dodge in an event where they can't dodge. So I say found out. I think that's probably a bit unfair. Really annoying that the orb placement's all stuck behind those fizz orbs in the middle. I mean, the gods literally have over 900k defense already. I think we're fine. This orb placement is dead. Maybe I should have got rid of the int orbs on the left. Yeah, I fully should have got rid of the int orbs on the left. That orb placement was atrocious. And again, this is one of the reasons why I brought the gods. Sure, when the SSJ4s fuse, we have damage reduction. Eeeeee! That super attack in slot 1 was not healthy in the slightest. We have 1% health. 1% health. Shit. I don't know if anyone survives a super attack while we're on 1% health. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if anyone survives it. Hopefully they do. That would be that'd be quite nice. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully they do. Please. Maybe. Hey, I'll take the triple. It helps. Every little helps. Every little helps. Do we live? Do we live? I mean, Goku just made me look stupid for bringing the gods right now. 75 damage. Hopefully TEQ Goku and Vegeta are fine in slot 3 right now. I didn't manage to get them 2 rainbow orbs. So hopefully those additionals kick in. No, that's a normal. That's not really what I was looking for. Yeah, I mainly brought them because of their type advantage and then their fusion, but we're kind of way off the HP threshold we need to be at to fuse them. We're still alive though. We're still alive though. Broly's appeared, hasn't he? Yeah, cool. We may have to use this straight away. I can't lie. I think it's too risky to not. We have 4,363 HP. That kind of has to be used already. At least we got to use it while Gohan has his intro buff, I guess. At least there's that. At least there's that. Let me drop those orbs down for us. I don't want another bad orb placement. Cool, that's fleshing them out for the turn as well, so this won't do anything or shouldn't do anything. Again, we have the intro buff with the taunt, with also 2 basics. That key that Gohan also gives everyone for being attacked, also big help, so Broly can get an 18 key and can get a stack in. That's going to help us later on. Maybe I should have brought SSJ4 Goku. We could have got a heal. And we have until turn 8 before we can get KEFLA out and get that 60% HP recovery. So maybe I should have brought Super Saiyan 4 Goku with us so we could get some healing involved, because things are a little bit techie right now. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So that was 1 stack, because I saw Kale and KEFLA do an additional normal, so we've only stacked once. Not great, but at least we don't have to worry about them potentially being super attacked this turn. But that doesn't help us for later on, because while the active skill is great here, because we have type advantage and we can just carry on stack and attack, and we've got 2 guaranteed additionals, which means we get 3 guaranteed supers every turn, and we're just going to be doing a ton of damage, which is good. But the only thing is, we won't have much defense at this rate. So it's all good we have all that damage, but we may not survive. Turns in battle 4, turns in battle 5. Probably... See, I could pop Vegito now, but... I don't know, that seems a little bit stupid. I think I might do it. I think actually I might do it. Because I have such low health, I need the HP recovery. There's no Gogeta active skill either. So I'm just going to pop the active skill on Vegito. I'm going to let my Vegeta stack some defense because he needs it. And then that can also let the gods carry on stacking a little bit. Because by the time we then end up transforming them into blue, they can be doing a ton of damage. So it kind of relieves the pressure that we have already had to use one Vegito active skill and also don't have a Gogeta active skill either. We gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do. I wasn't expecting to take a 500-600k super attack in slot 1 on the gods. To be fair, even the SSJ4s probably would have took that kind of damage. But I kind of thought they would be alright. I kind of thought we would be alright. You know, we started off with pretty good RNG and then we got slapped in the face with pretty poor RNG when it came to the attack pattern of the super attacks. So, you know, it's got to balance it out. You know, you got to have balance in life, I guess. And Dokkan decided to show me that balance probably at the worst possible time. I'll take that. That's not too bad. And then not to mention, because it's at the end of the rotation, we are building up Vegito's attack with all of these counters. Cool, that's all good for me, because then once that one's finished, even though we've already had to use one, which I can't lie is dead, but you know, as I said, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Even though that's dead, we are back up to full HP, which means we can get the Gogeta fusion, which will literally happen next turn. That'll help us also see where the super attacks are coming from, while also having Gogeta out, which is huge. Especially, again, another unit with type advantage. But then also, when this one defuses, which is only in a couple turns, we could then just start building up his defense and put him in slot 1 as Vegeta. And then maybe go straight into the other Vegito active skill, see where the super attack is, and then just kind of go from there. And then by that point, probably get the blues out as well. It will work. It will work. You know, it needed to be done. It will work. It will work because it has to work, okay? Get out of my face, bitch. Again, get out of my face, bitch. Clearly, SSJ is superior to blue. It's a shame we didn't have to get to stack his attack all that much, but as I said, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And the same thing applies in life. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But so far, even though we have been in some techie spots, and of course we have had the units in the team to kind of get us in and out and kind of around the danger we've been in, KEFLA and KEFLA have actually been doing quite well. Again, especially for the fact that we permanently do not have dodge, and because we don't have a Universe Survival Saga category enemy or ally, 60% attack, and more importantly, that guaranteed additional. That would have been huge for us. You know, if you do have Dokkan Fest hit, if you also have Carnival LR, KEFLA and KEFLA even more so, then that would be much easier for you to have a better linking partner, but then also that Universe Survival Saga category unit on the team to then partner with them. If you've got them, by all means use them. Also, that damage after the super attack was big. Right, so the super attack in slot 1 and slot 2. We have the fusion ready. How much defense do they have? 1.7. It's not quite enough. See, I could just carry on stacking. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to float them off because the video is about them. But I think I'd be kind of stupid to keep them here. Goku is probably already fully built up. Again, KEFLA won't have any dodge, even if we fused her immediately. She does get defense when receiving an attack, but I'm pretty sure the super attack isn't the first attack. There's 2 attacks before that. And no matter what, we're going to get 3 guaranteed 50% defense raises. Or I could float KEFLA and KEFLA off and then get some extra stacks in. I mean, one thing's for certain, that's getting popped. And also, Broly's active skill is getting popped. But then I also kind of want to see how much damage she tanks on a super attack as well. You know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You know, as I said, this is probably the worst setup for her. Not only event-wise, but also, again, for the fact that we haven't had that guaranteed additional. See, she loses defense when she fuses. That's the only thing that worries me, but it's because she gets 200% when she receives an attack. To be fair, we don't really need the orbs because there are no tournament participant category units on the team. So no one is getting the buff. I mean, we did get the 6 orbs, but they're just kind of useless because, again, no one is getting the 6. Not 6. No one is getting the support. I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, you know. This is why we do these runs, to test units out. Maybe she'll be fine. Maybe she'll be fine. I don't think Blue Goku's fully built up as well. Actually, no, I think he is. No, I think he is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So damage-wise, that is for certain. She's going to be doing a lot of damage, especially because, again, she has 3 guaranteed additionals, which is great here, having type advantage. To be fair, that is also quite handy against Goku, because at this point, you kind of want to get out quickly, because if you're in here too long, with Goku's build-up, there's a high chance you die. Big crit. There's another one guaranteed. So that's 150% extra defense she's going to get, and she's going to get an extra 200% when she receives that first attack, which won't be the super attack. Hidden potential? No hidden potential. Of course, double digits on normals. There's the 200% defense. How are we looking on super? No dodge, no guard, no damage reduction, no nothing. Just stats. How are we looking? 116. Do you know what? That's actually really good. Because let's face it, let's be real, without the guaranteed additional and being a bit hit or miss with RNG when it comes to that 50% in Kaelin KEFLA's passive, the hidden potential system additional, and nothing else to rely on defensively, we probably would have had in the realms of like over 2 mil defense, which is not bad, but that type of advantage is definitely helping us. But the fact that in most other events, we could probably stack up way more than that. KEFLA's ended up tanking probably, as I said, probably one of the worst event matchups this EZA could have gotten, and only took 100k. If we had the guaranteed additional, she would have tanked that for even less. If we got lucky with additional supers, she would have tanked that for even less. So fair play. Fair play. And do you know what? I think it's time we just go for complete and utter damage. I think that is what we go for. So let's get the second Vegito out. The blues are also out. It's all good. Pop this. I'm ready for you, Blue Goku. Now that the training wheels have come off, now that the weights have come out from under our clothes and your boy is light, your boy's hot stepping, 2-stepping, I think it's time that we do a ton of damage back to you. We've already started with KEFLA, and that's also another thing as well. If we also had the guaranteed additional, if we also got lucky with additional supers, we also would have done more damage because we would have stacked up more attack. The only saving grace here is we get to continue stacking attack while as KEFLA. And not to mention, those 3 stacks are always guaranteed. But even then, we would have had more attack going into the fusion to do more damage on that one turn alone. But I'm impressed. As I said, this is probably the worst place KEFLA could be in. And Kaelin KEFLA have held their own with no dodge. KEFLA has held her own with no dodge while doing good damage. So any other event you're going to be taking this EZA into, they will hold their own. It's as simple as. It's as simple as. You know, you have Universe Survival Saga Red Zone against Jiren, who the entire time you're facing a Universe Survival Saga enemy. So you always have a guaranteed additional. So even if you're not getting lucky with RNG on the additional supers in passive or potential system, you'll always be guaranteed super attacking twice, which means their build up is quicker. They have more time to stack. It's a 5-phase fight. The dodge cancellation, as I said, by the time you get to the final phase just doesn't matter. Because by that point, Kaelin KEFLA would have stacked up so much. You would have had so much defense. And also KEFLA by that point, when they're fused, has type advantage. You're just going to wipe Jiren out. He's only doing 2.2 mil on a super attack as well. Festival of Battles, you know, 70 plus turns of just raw and pure stack while also being able to dodge. Yes, you're going to lose out of that 90% a while ago. And at some points, we'll even only have 50% chance to dodge because, of course, the extra 20 for doing 3 super attacks or 3 attacks doesn't proc until the next turn they appear. But again, by that point, they would have so much defense, it doesn't matter. And then by the time you get KEFLA out, it's probably pretty much game, especially when you would have fused by that point. Or other units would have stacked up like the SSJ4s and the gods, etc. Maybe even Nameku. Again, even battle-hardened formidable foes, you know, they just stack up so quickly. Even without, as I said, good RNG. RNG's been very hit or miss with the additional supers. Even without the guaranteed additional and no dodge, they've managed to hold their own just because they stack so quickly. Fair play. Fair play. We might as well just do this. And then again, we have no tournament participants, so we don't really need to give KEFLA 6 orbs. Not that I'd really be fighting to give KEFLA orbs here anyway, because we don't really need the support. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, if I could give it to her, I'd give it to her. But as I said, there's no tournament participants here. That super attack was a bit... Oh, Broly, what are we doing? Broly, what have you done? I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I swapped the SSJ4s in, and we're pretty much back to exactly where we were. So we're going to pop our last Vegito fusion. And just so KEFLA can get one last look in, I'm going to use the active skill, and then I'm going to put KEFLA in slot 1. She's pretty much exactly where she was before as well. Pre-fusion, she was about 1.7 mil defense. I kind of think that was exactly where she was the first time round. I could be wrong, but I think she was on exactly 1.7 mil. We get more attack if we have Vegito in the middle, so I'll leave him there. But this should secure us our dub. We're just shy of a Dokkan attack. If only we got that on KEFLA as well, that would have been pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. And now we can start the Vegito counters, because there is going to be plenty coming from slot 1. And we can just watch Blue Goku's health just drop. But I'm curious to see what kind of numbers KEFLA's putting out. I mean, she did get her guaranteed 3 super attacks turn prior. She's only been fused for 1 turn. So how much damage are we looking at here? 26.3. I mean, it's solid. It's solid. It's solid. You know, if we did have the guaranteed additional from the Universe Survival Saga category enemy or ally, obviously, that would probably be in the 30s roundabout now. And of course, if we consistently got lucky with RNG from the passive proccing or the hidden potential system proccing, that would easily probably be a lot closer to 30 as well. But as I said, considering we didn't have that guaranteed additional, we don't have the extra 60% attack in base the entire time, and she hasn't been able to dodge. We're up to 30 now. Hidden potential system backing me up this time around. But considering everything essentially was against this unit, you know, I said no dodge whatsoever. We didn't have the guaranteed additional or the 60% attack in base. I think they've done really, really well. Really, really well. Are they another unit that also do benefit from being on probably one of the strongest teams in the game? Yes. But she's more than capable of holding her own in this event, and this is the worst possible matchup for a unit like EZA SSJ2 KEFLA. Without a shadow of a doubt, the worst possible setup for a unit like this that is a dodge or die unit and only depends on sheer stats. So I have to say, fair play, fair enough. Fair enough. Probably one of the better EZAs to come out of 2025 so far, excluding the anniversary, of course, but probably one of the better EZAs to come this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Because I did say in the beginning of the video, if she can make it in an event like this, then she can make it in any event, and I think that statement couldn't be any more true. I just wish we could have stacked her a bit more, but you know, it is what it is. It happens. You know, as I said before, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. 4 milli crit on the crit counter as well that's juicy. 4.3, even more juicy. Scrumptious, voluptuous. 4.5. Yeah, honestly, what a unit. What a unit. Let me use Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's active skill as well. The dub is in sight. We literally have like 1 super attack to go and we are done. Who goes in slot 1 is the question. Who goes in slot 1? Probably Gogeta, right? Probably. We also got the Dokkan attack going as well. We've also got the Dokkan attack going as well. Although the under 2 million defense kind of worries me a little bit. It does kind of worry me a little bit. Or we could just do that. I forgot his counter's guaranteed when the enemy's at below a certain HP threshold. I'm just used to Super Saiyan 4 Goji are not really countering, and I always forget there's a guaranteed one when the enemy's below a certain threshold. But yeah, EZA TEQ and KEFLA more than held their own in base. Yes, they are very vulnerable and can be very vulnerable against Blue Goku. But that's all dependent on RNG. If you have a Universe Survival Saga category in it with you to help the guaranteed additionals to stack them quicker, build up that 160 attack and defense a bit quicker. But once they've stacked a bit, once they've got going, they're fine. You know, as long as you probably keep them out of harm's way from a super attack, which I think with enough additionals, they could probably survive. They'll take a good amount of damage, but I think they can survive. And then once you get KEFLA out, with that type of advantage, you are just dealing tons of damage. But honestly, what an EZA. They more than held their own. Probably one of the better EZAs to come out in 2025. They are really, really good. And we're going to try them out in some more difficult content at a later date, which I don't doubt they are going to absolutely obliterate. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.